I was really surprised to discover that there is more warmth between Harry and Meghan and Charles than other family members, and that has grown since they've left the country. It's taken a long time to get there. I detail in the book some of those awkward early conversations between Harry and his father on the phone, and it was often Harry that had to kind of reach out and make that first step. While sources close to Harry say that he understands that his father's never going to want to address many of the things that they experienced and went through, and some of the things that their own family were responsible for, he doesn't want to be completely disconnected from his father. He understands that he's a complex character, that he's a cold character, that he doesn't wear his heart on his sleeve like perhaps his mother did. And so rather than kind of shun everyone away, I think they embrace the fact that there is some kind of dialogue or line of communication there. But I was really surprised to discover that even Meghan had been sending photos and videos of the children to Charles via one of the aides. I think it just shows that there is hope there, perhaps, for the future, at least between those two.
That maybe it's not as bad as we all want to paint it, that it's like a line's been drawn in the sand, that there is actually communication and there is a glimmer of hope, especially with those grandchildren.
Isn't that what makes them a normal family? They're complex. One minute we think they're never going to talk again, and then a few weeks later, or a few months later in this case, we find out that the ice is thawing a little. But I think the big difference between the fallout between Harry and his father to his brother is that Charles didn't betray Harry in quite such a sort of obvious way that William did. And let's not forget, Harry and William were once two men that said, let's never allow the press to get in between us like our parents did. And that's exactly what's happened.
Where does Harry stand today in his relationship with Charles?
It was really interesting analysing the current status of the relationships between Harry and his father and also his brother, because after the release of Spare, we heard him in January talking about, I want to have conversations with my family, I want accountability from my family, I want apologies. I can't speak for Harry. I would imagine that he misses the way things were, but I don't think that this is a man that misses his family today, because what he experienced are things that they wanted to run away from. They don't miss that time, because that was one of the worst times of their life. And sadly, at the very center of it were his father and his brother. I think for Charles, he's in a difficult position, because although he's a father and a grandfather, he is also the gatekeeper of the crown at this point. And it's why we've seen him take drastic steps that have hurt his son and his daughter-in-law, taking away Frogmore Cottage just at a time when they needed a safe base in the UK. These things from the outside look incredibly cruel, but from a kind of colder perspective, this is a man who's also downsizing the cost of the institution, and that is something, as people of Britain and the Commonwealth, we want to see.